Why is Shara Bullet not your typical guy from Dagestan? So one thing that definitely sets Shara Bullet apart from the rest has to be his appearance. I mean, when he first entered the UFC in 2023, everyone was like, who is this guy with bright orange ginger hair and the bright orange beard? Everyone was just so captivated by him. Like, he literally looks like a character out of a video game. He has this like mythical aura around him, and everyone was just so interested in getting to know who Shara Bullet is. But then everybody realized he's from Dagestan, and he just looks so different to every other fighter from Dagestan. And then we all looked a little bit closer and realized that Shara Bullet actually only has one eye. So I did a bit of my own research into the reason why Shara Bullet lost vision in his right eye, and it turns out that he actually did initially injure his eye while training out in Thailand, and then it led on to him having like 8 operations that caused him so much pain. But unfortunately, his eye could not be saved, and it led to him actually taking a 3-year break from MMA. So despite this huge setback, I just think it's so incredible to see how much willpower Shara Bullet had and how he didn't let this setback stop him from having a literal flawless MMA record. And honestly, I actually just love how Shara Bullet has really owned this physical limitation. He plays this really cool pirate persona, and I just think it fits him so well. He's never made any excuses, and clearly the fans love him. So this pirate persona, I think he plays it so well. He has some really cool iconic punchlines.
Came for my gold.
The pirate is here.
So really, I just think Shara Bullet's willpower is admirable, and he's definitely a huge role model for so many out there. So speaking of role models, Shara Bullet actually said his own role model is Michael Bisping, who we all know also lost vision in his right eye but still went on to have such an incredible MMA career. And honestly, it's obvious that the fans are loving Shara Bullet's look as well. I have seen so many TikTok edits of Shara. People really love his style, the way he looks, and he has so many female fans as well, not just guys that love watching the UFC. But we will get onto that in a bit more detail later. So I couldn't do this video without talking about the viral mall fight that Shara Bullet had quite a few years ago now. But it was like one of the first things I learned about Shara Bullet when I did my research on him when he first came into the UFC last year. And there was this clip where Joe Rogan was talking about it on his podcast. You never really hear of any controversy or scandals surrounding any fighters from Dagestan. This mall fight story is one that people like to bring up all the time whenever you're talking about Shara Bullet. So I had to do my own research into it and see exactly what happened. So there's like some grainy CCTV of the incident, but Shara Bullet has spoke on it in the past and said it's something that he's kind of moved on from. And of course, he didn't expect it to go so viral. So in this incident, Shara Bullet was not happy about the PDA between a couple and got into a fight with the guy. So I was rewatching the CCTV myself for this video, and it really is something. And if you are a UFC fan, you should know a bit about Dagestan by now and know that it is a predominantly Muslim part of Russia, and PDA is something that is frowned upon. So yes, I did rewatch the clip, and it does seem like Shara was actually hit first, so you can argue he just acted in self-defense. The craziest thing about this incident is actually the fact that Shara Bullet later on bumped into the guy again, it seemed like outside of the mall, and then just literally knocks him out to the ground. And then you've got all these people literally rushing over and surrounding the guy. It's not funny, but it kind of is, I guess you could say, dark humor. Everyone was kind of like surrounding the guy, and certain people literally knew like what to do when a person's knocked out. So it just kind of shows that perhaps Dagestan is truly like a place where everyone knows how to fight and how to react in situations like where people are knocked out, because there was like this one guy that was like raising his legs. I think someone might have put the guy in like the recovery position, and I think that just shows how different Dagestan is to many places in the world, because I think if that happened over in the UK, you'd just get like a bunch of teenagers crowding around, laughing, taking videos, posting it on TikTok and whatnot. So a lot of people out there online have criticized Shara's actions, but if you really review some of the interviews he's done nowadays, nowadays, it seems like Shara's actual attitude is really calm. He seems like a really laid-back, chill person, and people always do things they regret, and people do act out in the heat of the moment. And I really don't think he would act out in the same way if he saw a couple and their PDA again. I really do think Shara has come out of his shell, and he's even starring in this Hollywood movie. I remember earlier this year he flew out to Hollywood, he was in LA, and he was shooting some type of like zombie horror movie, and I can't wait for it to come out. Don't think we've had any MMA fighters from Dagestan make it out into Hollywood or star in any movies. Think Shara Magomedov is probably the first, and that is just another thing that I think makes him not your typical guy from Dagestan. So moving on from talking about Shara's personality, another major thing that sets him apart from fighters in Dagestan definitely has to be his fighting style. He has all of these incredibly unique kicks, and he can strike so well. And his fighting style is not heavily focused in wrestling. Fighters from Dagestan have always been known to have incredibly strong wrestling skills and a heavy wrestling approach when it comes to fights. But Shara Magomedov actually has a really unique fighting style. He has all of these incredible kicks and really strong striking. So he's currently 15-0, and 12 of his wins have actually been by knockout. And I am still not over his last win at UFC 308 versus Armen Petrosyan. That double spinning back fist was insane, and I really didn't see it coming, and I don't think we get to see knockouts like that often, and I definitely think that has a lot to do with his training out in Thailand. So it looks like Shara has always been training in Thailand from the beginning and fighting in promotions over in Asia. Whereas many of the UFC stars we see today that have come from Dagestan have actually trained under the legendary Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov school or are part of Team Habib. But actually recently I saw some pictures of Shara and Habib together, so it would be really cool to see the pair train in the future. Shara has actually been criticised for things like his takedown defense in the past. I remember his first fight against Bruno Silva at UFC 294. Dana White has said it was like the first guy he's seen from Dagestan with zero takedown defense, but Shara said that comment had only actually motivated him to improve. And he's even been spotted quite a few times with Team Habib coach Javier Mendez. Javier Mendez has created so many champions, so I think it would be so cool to see them all train together. It's so true that fighters from Dagestan are so supportive of one another, and they are so open to training with other fighters from around the world. I think it was so cool how recently we saw Mighty Mouse training with Habib and Islam Makhachev. Like, if they all train together, I just think that we could turn Shara Magomedov into this MMA superhuman. So I said I was going to go back to this earlier in this video, and that is about how I think Shara Magomedov is becoming this TikTok sensation. So I've literally seen so many edits of Shara just about him, his before and after, the clothes he's wearing, his style, and it's clear he's got so many female, not just male fans. So I definitely think he's encouraging more girls to watch the UFC and MMA. He's even been hanging around with fellow Dagestan superstar Hasbulla. The pair have been like going out together, having dinner in Dubai, and Shara has also been recognized for his style in a lot of these TikToks as well. I think he's quite a big fan of Gucci, and he even talked about this in a previous interview where he said that his more eccentric style and his interest in fashion and his natural hair color was actually something that made him the target or victim of bullying, but he actually just used his fighting style to beat everyone up who was treating him badly. And I definitely think his overall style is something else that does set him apart from the rest of fighters that come from Dagestan. He isn't as simplistic, and he's really confident in showing his own individuality. But you know what? Good for him. I think you should dress however you want. You're not harming everybody else, so you shouldn't care what anybody else thinks. He's due to take on Michael Venom Page on February 1st at UFC Saudi Arabia, and I am so excited for that fight. It will be so incredible to see him carry on his undefeated streak. Regardless of what the outcome of the fight is, I think it's clear that Shara has won the hearts of so many fans. So guys, that's my big talk over on Shara Bullet Magomedov. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you know any more interesting facts about Shara, please drop them down in the comments below too. Please don't forget to share and like this video, and as always, subscribe to my channel.